Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for another Ask a Teacher Live. Unfortunately, this particular video is actually from 2013. It's not recent. The information I think is very solid. However, in the very middle, I recommend a site called interpals.net. I no longer recommend that site anymore, not because they're bad, but just because many better many better alternatives have come up since that time. What I currently would like to recommend to you all, when it gets to that part, and I'm talking about talking to Japanese people, I would say HelloTalk is an excellent option to talk to Japanese people. And while we're at it, if you're looking for a Japanese teacher, although they don't sponsor me at all, neither does HelloTalk, I highly recommend italki.com. So both of those are very valid things. I wish I could speak with flow. I just can't speak with flow sometimes. And I'm basically speaking completely without any plan, and I hope by the end of the sentence that I can finish it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy Japanese from Zero, Ask a Teacher number 105. Hello and welcome to Ask a Teacher Live. This is Ask a Teacher number 105. This is where we answer your questions about Japanese. Normally on the Japanese Daily, I talk about what I want to talk about, but in Ask a Teacher, we talk about what you want to talk about. We have a lot of good questions today. A really, really good one to open it up. So let's get to it. First question is from Unko-kun, or as I like to translate into English, Mr. Poop. Mr. Poop says, according to Genki, the object of the can-do form of the verb is can use either wo, or o, or ga, except for dekiru. Does that apply to pseudo verbs as well? For example, kuruma o unten dekiru. Is that possible, for example? He is talking about the Genki book series. I only have book 1. I got it because I'm a book company myself, and just like General Motors will purchase Toyota, and Toyota will purchase Ferraris so that they can look at how they're made, I also have copies to look at how they're made, and I think it's made very well, to be honest with you. It's very well made. I like their headers and their examples, very nice. Unfortunately, what he's talking about isn't in book 1, it is in book 2, but I'll wing it, and we'll go ahead and teach this. Here we go. I'll teach you what Genki didn't, all right? Remember this. Karma. All right, so let's talk about the potential verb forms, is what we're talking about. The can-do and can't-do verb forms, or technically the potential verb forms. You do things like this. Something ga kaeru, for example. I can buy a thing, right? Something ga kaeru. Where normally you can use o, right? So, for example, kuruma o kau. To buy a car. I will buy a car. Kuruma ga kaeru. I can buy a car. You can also say kuruma o kaeru. But I'm going to tell you, it's not as common. O kaeru is not as common as ga kaeru. I always thought it was, and I confirmed it by doing what I call the Google test. And what you do on the Google test is you go to Google, and you put the most basic form of it you can in quotes, American quotes. O kaeru, ga kaeru. Do them one by one and look at how many results come up. Ga kaeru is over 10 million results. O kaeru is just about 2.5 million. So it's used about 1/4 as much as ga kaeru. Now, you can do further research with that exact same thing, right? And you can look at what sentences they're using with o kaeru and what sentences they're using with ga kaeru and see if you can find when typically Japanese people choose to use ga or o. I sort of saw a trend. I'm not going to talk about it because I might be wrong and I don't want to give that away. I'd like you to see if you can find something a little bit beyond the scope of your question. So, can I do o and ga? Yeah, that was your question, but we're setting it up. Yes, for this you can. Now let's look at the next thing. Verb koto ga dekiru, right? Verb, I probably should have had the ga marked off in red instead of the koto, but this is you could say any verb plus koto ga dekiru, iku koto ga dekiru, I am able to go. It's really the equivalent of saying ikeru, it's just another way to do it. But your question was, can we do this with suru verbs that turn into dekiru? Because the potential form, the can-do form of suru, which is to do, is dekiru. How does that affect the o and the ga? Let's look at it. So let me give you a verb that is a suru verb. Unten suru, to drive. Unten suru. So you might know that you could also have this as unten o suru, but we're not going to talk about that for right now. We're just going to do the basic form. Unten suru. Okay? Unten shimasu ka? Do you drive? Hai, unten shimasu. What about if you want to say, do you drive a car? Or to drive a car. Kuruma o unten suru. Kuruma o unten suru. Right? That's an o. When you go to the dekiru form, you can do this. Kuruma o unten dekiru. Kuruma o unten dekiru. You can do that. Now, is it grammatically correct? I actually don't know. But I know that you can do it, and it is done by Japanese people. Remember, there's a difference between real world speaking versus what they teach you in class. I honestly don't know. But I did call my wife, knowing that this is okay, and double check. I said, hey, does this sound weird to you? Kuruma o unten dekiru. But I'm going to show you something really interesting. Okay? This is something you hadn't thought about. So you can say, kuruma o unten dekiru, but you wouldn't say, I'm sorry, there's a way that you probably haven't thought about. You can also do this. Kuruma no unten ga dekiru. Oh, what is that? That is, okay, here's what you can't say. This is what I was getting ready to say. You can't say, kuruma o unten ga dekiru. You can't have the o and the ga together. But you can do it with a no. Kuruma no unten ga dekiru. In other words, can you do the driving of a car? Kuruma no unten is driving of a car. Car driving. Can you do car driving? Kuruma no unten ga dekiru. Just remember, you cannot do kuruma o unten ga dekiru. If you want to use o, the ga cannot be used. It must be kuruma o unten dekiru. Okay, let's work with another one. Let's see if you've grasped the concept. I'm going to look here into the chat room, all right? And I'm going to look here at Unko-kun, and we're going to see if you can get it. So this is the new verb. Insatsu suru, to print. Insatsu suru. All right? So to print homework is, what is to print homework, Unko-kun? There's a slight delay. We'll wait for him. Only Unko-kun. This is his question. Oh, come on. Come on, don't let me down. Come on. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. You're letting me down. Thank you. Wow. Okay, it was, okay. You screwed up the verb, but that's cool. Shukudai o insatsu suru. Not insu. I'm not sure what that is. Insatsu. Shukudai o insatsu suru. Now, how about you to be able to print homework? What would that be? To be able to print homework using o. How would you do it? Using o. I know there's a lag, but look, there was lag, but that was actual Unko's brain lag. That was his brain lag, because he's normally quicker. I'm looking at the stream. I'm watching it too. I know how delayed it is. He should have answered by now, for example. Shukudai o insatsu dekiru. Yes. Shukudai o insatsu dekiru. So, for example, I could go to Kinko. I could say, my daughter might be able to come into my room, right, and say, Dada, shukudai o insatsu dekiru? Can you print my homework? Iyo, dekiru. She could even drop the O. This is typical. Shukudai insatsu dekiru? Drop the O. Typical. All right? Now, remember what we did with the no just a second ago. You can also do this. Shukudai no insatsu ga dekiru. Shukudai no insatsu ga dekiru. That's it. It's the printing of the homework that can be done. Hopefully that has answered your question. Thank you. All right. Next question is from William T. He says, I learn a lot of vocab from flashcards, but I still have trouble forming sentences and getting the grammar to stick. What are some things that I can do to help enforce grammar? I just spit on the iPad. To enforce grammar and making sentences. Well, this is a good question, and I don't have anything on the iPad. I'm just going to talk about personal experience. Number one, grammar is the stuff that you don't normally forget. It's the other way around. Normally you forget words. I think you're focusing too much on the words if that's the case. Of course, everyone's different, and maybe you're better with words than grammar, but typically what will happen is when you know a lot of Japanese or a lot of any language, you'll know the grammar because the grammar is reinforced every single sentence. There's no sentence that doesn't have grammar, but words only come up every now and then, right? So maybe you're doing too much Anki. Anki, what's the bad? I mean, Anki's great, but if you do Anki too much, you really only know the words. The way that I avoid that problem is, I've talked about it, interpals.net. I go up. I'm going to tell you my exact process, and I'm not even going to hold back the details. This is what I do. I go to interpals.net. I have an account there. And I go to my home. When I click home, it gives me a little search box, right? Whatever you normally search last is there. And I search for girls between the age of 25 and 40. I know, I'm 40, and 25 is young. But there's a lot of 29-year-olds and a lot of 28-year-olds that are cute. Right? And right now I'm learning Korean, so I look for 25 to 40-year-old Korean girls. Yeah, I know. I know. But I just clicked through and I said, oh, she looks nice. If they look nice, like some people don't look nice, right? And I don't mean cute or hot. I just mean like a nice person that would talk to me, okay? Because I'm going to tell you what, studying, if you're a girl and you're studying from a hot guy, it's a little bit more fun. If you're a guy like me studying from a cute girl, it's a little bit more fun. Then I click on their name and I type sentences using grammar. And it will take me 30 minutes sometimes. So what I do is I have half the screen with Interpal and I have half the screen with Google Translate. Okay? And in Google Translate, I'll be typing my sentence in Korean, trying to see if I know it. See if I can get it first. When I don't get it, then I switch. I have another browser open, Firefox. Firefox is Japanese to Korean mode. Chrome is the other way around, Korean to Japanese mode. In Chrome, I'm trying to get the sentence on my own. When I give up, I go to the other browser and I type in Japanese. For you, if you don't know, I mean, you have to use English, right? English to Japanese is not as good, but you try it. So you do English and you see what the sentence comes up. And then you can correct yourself. A lot of times, Google won't be perfect. But then I use that sentence. And I always, at the end, will try to ask, hey, let me know if I have any problems. By the way, they'll always tell you if you have problems. And if you don't know how to ask them, say, please help me with my Japanese. If I have mistakes, let me know. And that's how you do it. You continually practice. And a lot of times, the people on Interpals or any website, it could be the J-List Friends as much as I care, they also have a way for you to have pen pals. But get their Skype name. Use Shared Talk. Use Lang 8. Talk to people. Go to a meetup. I go to a meetup here in Vegas. I went yesterday. I've been 10 times. It's changed my life. And I'm not even going to lie. It's changed my life. And I just went to learn Korean. Turns out, it changed my life. Because I met so many good people. It changed my entire arena of friends. I now have a lot of Korean friends. I have more Korean friends in this town than Japanese friends now. And I've been in this town for 20 years almost. All right? That's how you get more sentences. If you know more words than grammar, you have a problem. Fix it. Thanks for the question. All right, next question is from Maz. He says, the verb kakaru can have many meanings. Can you give some examples of the usage of kakaru? Maybe some of the rarer ones too? Sure. Give me 1 second. All right. Kakaru. There's two main things that kakaru does, and I call them, I really think these are the most important things that the verb kakaru does. And if you look up kakaru on my favorite dictionary, jisho.org, JISHO.org, and for the record, we have a dictionary too on YesJapan, yesjapan.com/dictionary. Who'd have thunk it? Same exact database, only not as good as Jisho. Jisho.org is a much better built dictionary. So they say, so here's if you look up kakaru, you'll notice there's like 3 or 4 different kanjis for it. All right? But regardless of the kanji, let's just see what kakaru does without regard for the kanji. Time ga kakaru, right? Jikan. Jikan ga kakaru. That phrase alone means it takes time. Jikan ga kakaru. Another thing is money ga kakaru. So kakaru is used for time and money. These are the biggest things that I think it's used for. So, for example, if you want to say it takes 3 minutes, you use kakaru. The take is kakaru. It costs $4. Its cost there is kakaru. Kakaru has a lot of meanings. You're absolutely right. But I want to warn you about something. When you use kakaru, you're going to be saying things like, it takes 3 minutes and it costs $3. Remember this one rule about counters and amounts. When you're using a counter or an amount, you don't have a particle after it. So if you want to say it takes 3 minutes, you don't say 3分 ga kakaru or o kakaru. It's just 3分 kakaru. It will take 3 minutes. All right? The equivalent of making the mistake of adding ga would be like saying, it will take on 3 minutes. It's literally sounds like that. Don't add the ga. Just say 3分 kakaru. If it's going to take 3 hours, 3時間 kakaru. 3 years, 3年 kakaru. All right? What about money? Same thing. 3 ドル kakaru. Doru is an amount. It does not require. Now, that doesn't mean that all amounts never use particles. But here they do not. If you want to say, I need $3, 3ドルが必要です. You might say that, but you could also say 3ドル必要です. You typically don't need a particle. All right? 3ドルかかる. If you need $300, 300ドルかかる. All right? Now let's talk about some of the other usages of this verb. Excuse me. かかる. All right? So one that I think is probably fairly rare because it's very limited, you'll say 橋がかかってる. There's a bridge over it. 橋がかかってる. Now notice that this かかっている or かかってる, the E is sometimes dropped. This is what they call the progressive form. Progressive. I don't like that word, but it's the ongoing present tense form. It means it's in a state of, right? There's a bridge laid on top of it. かかってる. That's another thing. To lay on top of it. It's laying on top. All right? Now also keep in mind, かかるis a passive form. Ugh, what does that mean? Ugh. It means I didn't put the bridge over it. If I was going to put a bridge over something, I would say 橋を架けます. 架ける. And かかる is just the state. It's in a state of being on top of San Francisco, whatever river, give me a river. 川の上に橋がかかってる. Right? There's a river, there's a bridge over the river. Here's another one. 壁にかかっている. It's hanging on the wall. かかる to hang. For example, I have pictures of the Korean band 21 on my wall. So 21のポスターが壁にかかっている. Okay? There's a carpet hanging on the wall. カーペットが壁にかかっている. Or かかっている or かかっている. Alright? Oh, and if I want to say I hung it up, 私がかけました. See the difference? かける and かかる. Passive and active. Passive and active, keep in your mind. It's a little bit complicated. And the final one, 電話がかかる. That means the phone rings. If the phone is ringing right now, it's かかっている. The phone is かかっている, right? But if I call somebody, it's かける. I'll call you tomorrow. 明日電話かけます. Or 電話をかけます. All right, thank you. That's a great question. All right. Our next question. I normally wouldn't take a question like this, but I really like Hawk. Hawk's his username is Hawk8351211. Don't know if that's his birthday or his phone number. I'm not sure. But I really like this guy. He's like 12 or 13. He's really young. So I wanted to answer this question because maybe he's having a problem. Maybe it's a life experience thing, right? I know this has nothing to do with Japanese, but when was your last public altercation? And what was it about? And did you cuss some rude guy out? And if you can't remember your last, what was your most intense? There's two that I remember. Actually, I remember like three or four because it happens a lot. When I am determined, I get very pissed. And yes, I do cuss. I cuss a lot. But I remember I was in Little Japan, or Little Tokyo in LA, and this bully kid was pushing around this little kid, right? He was being a real prick to the kid, and it was in Japanese. And I went over and I pushed him away from the other kid, and I was like, "Sawarun jane! Don't touch him!" And then I said something in English like, get out now! Leave the store now!" And I kicked him out of the store, basically. Turns out that was his older brother. Yeah, I should have done that. Because now that I have kids, I get it. I get it. Kids do that sort of thing. But, yeah. So, I felt good at the time, but then immediately after I was like, oh, crap, what did I just do? Another time, and this is a typical American thing, I was running to catch a gate at the airport, and I kind of cut off a lady, right? And I cut this lady off. It was my fault, but I didn't like how she responded. She's like, "Excuse you. Excuse you." First of all, excuse you is like the rudest thing you can say to somebody, She's like, "Excuse you." She had like attitude, and I was like, and I literally said, "Shut the up." I said that. I was like, "Shut the," because it was just look, I accidentally cut you off. You don't gotta be a bee about it. I was like, "Shut the," and she's like, "Oh," and then she made fun of my shirt, right? She made fun of my shirt, and today is not really a good shirt either, right? But I had this like red and white check shirt on, right? It was like literally a picnic tablecloth shirt, literally made out of a picnic table. She goes, "You and your picnic tablecloth shirt." And then I looked at her, she's like a fat American. I go, "You and your fat," I was like, "You and your fat, shut the," and I just went through security. I feel bad, because I was wrong, and I want to tell you, I am more mature nowadays. I've matured. There's one thing I've realized, and I've talked about this on a daily, but if a guy cuts you off on the street, right, your natural reaction when you're young, of course, is to go, boop, 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 hit the horn and be upset. But here's the thing, man. You don't know what happened to that guy. He might be running to the hospital because his kid's finger got cut off in a bandsaw at school. You don't know what happened. He's not choosing you. He doesn't know who you are. So when it happens to me nowadays, I just say, you know what? I slow down and I give the guy room. I don't get upset. I don't know what's happening to that guy. And even if he is a jerk and he's doing it on purpose, do I really want that guy who might have a gun in his car to shoot me because I took a stand? I'm not going to take any stands where I might die for no reason. If I'm going to help save someone's life, yes. Help a little person, yes. But I'm not going to, out of pride, I'm not going to do that. So you're young, Hawk, and I'm sure you're going to have those times, but don't feel so guilty. Just learn from the experience and move on. Thanks for the question. Oh, that was it? Well, you had the last question. Look at that. Thank you for watching Yes Japan Ask a Teacher number 105. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Keep studying.